bored occasionally, and this is where I got this habit from. When Dad gets bored, he's like, I need a new hobby. I'm going to learn how to. So he was a rancher. He sold the ranch. He retired at 40. That lasted about 8 months. He's like, I need to get out of the fucking house! And he became an oil field operator. And then he swam in money. And then he tried retiring again. And he was like, I need to get out of the fucking house! And he became an oil operator again for more money and picked up, bought a package of land outside of town and moved out to it and then started learning blacksmithing with me. He tried to retire again. That lasted a year. He's like, I need to get out of the fucking house! So now he started, because he works in the oil field, he has access to what are called boneyards, which is basically when the oil field has equipment, they're like, well, this is broken, but we can't just throw it in the dumpster because it's literally half a ton of steel. We're just going to put it in this lot. And 10 years later, we'll do some industrial scrap metal recycling. But the oil field's like, no, dude, if you want to take stuff, just fucking take it. So that's where we're getting a lot of our scrap metal for blacksmithing practice, which was super great. But then Dad's like, I want to learn how to make furniture. Because I have a certain aesthetic that I like, but I can't find it in the stores because the stores are all, it's very French, or it's very English, and it's got all this nice leather and stuff. And Dad's like, no, I want something that looks like it was cobbled together by angry dwarves. So he started going through the boneyard and started going through farm auctions, right? So they would knock down like a 100-year-old barn made with old 8x8 timbers. Shit like that, right? So he'd come home because he's got all this, old rancher knowledge of how to do stuff. He's got this gigantic flatbed trailer. So he's like, comes back home, flatbed trailer loaded up with 8x8 timbers. What are you gonna do with that? Something. A week later, he's like, I made a bed. Out of a barn? Yeah, well, a barn. And I found some of these steel bolt rods that are about 1.5 inches thick, and some nuts that went on them that are like literally this big. So that was his first piece, and he took pictures of it. And now he has a website where he sells custom furniture because people were like, that is the most amazing bed I've ever seen. Now, I mean, it's not perfect. Its construction is amazing, but he didn't finish it at that, he was just starting, he was like, let's see if I can put something together. Hey, it works. Now his stuff is also beautifully finished and brings out stains, that brings out the pattern of ancient Canadian woods, and he's got these bookshelves and tables, and it looks like dwarves went, I need a table! Bang, bang, bang! Table! It's like, oh, there's been a war! And desolate city landscape, crumbled gravel, and table. This shit will, if you want to fuck on the kitchen table, you buy one of these because the sucker won't wiggle. So, he gives me this bed, and I'm like, this is an awesome bed. And I finally, I know it's good quality, and it's not, super, polished and stained and stuff. I'm like, yes, this is exactly, I dig this style, right? It's like diesel punk, sort of. And I've seen it in the barn in storage. And I'm like, yeah, it's totally, I recognize it, it's cool, and yes, I want it. And then I get it assembled and at home, and I'm like, thanks, Dad, that's great. Dad goes home. I look at the bed, I'm like, so it's built out of 8x8 timbers. And it's got these big-ass fucking lug nuts on it. And the headboard and baseboard, the footboard, are made out of gravel screen, which is basically got 1/4-inch, 1/2-inch rod, in a sort of a interlocking pie shape, like a checkerboard pattern, and they sift gravel with it, right? So the big pieces fall through, or the small pieces fall through, and the big pieces stay on top. So they know that anything that falls out is smaller than a certain size, anything that stays on top is larger than a certain size. So they can filter out gravel for roads and stuff. So there's some junk of that, and cut it into pieces, put it in, and he was like, dude, okay, so we put this here, and then we just screw these giant fucking wooden holders onto it so it can't possibly ever shift. And I'm like, great. This looks like a sex dungeon bed. Straight up, oh, here's your headboard, which is like 2 of these, like this area twice of just great that you can just clip something to and it's not gonna fucking move. And the footboard, like the end of the bed, exactly the same thing. And like literally, I would not do this because I would die. I could take a running leap at this bed and just sort of tackle it, and it would go. So I look at it and I'm like, well, it's a good thing I'm not Christian anymore. I should hit on girls at Otafest and see if anybody wants to use this. Turns out, no. Sadly, yet. But yeah, so the thing is, I don't think he has any fucking clue. I think he understands that BDSM exists. I just don't think he realizes when he builds something like that, or his, and I quote, rolling saddle rack, which is this long, giant fucking like 4x12 timbers again, right? 90-degree angle, like that, this height, for putting saddles on. He's like, this shape is what I need. I can now store my saddles. Good, and they sit on this, like, and it's sitting on 8x8 posts. And like, I've got these giant caster wheels, so they roll around real good. This, finally I have something that I can store my saddles on. And I'm like, do I tell him? I don't think I should tell him. Maybe I should tell him because he's put this on his website. He's gonna get orders. I'm not gonna tell him. So I haven't told him. But like approximately half of the stuff he makes is like, look, I've made a corner shelf that fits into corners, and it's a shelf that's sort of, and you just bolt it into the wall so it can never move. Yep, and you can hang things off of it, and yeah, it works great. And we're just like, yes, it does. So.